Thank you to everybody who joined in the joke yesterday, the Steinton Airlines one. Thank you to everybody who commented on the thumbnail. Well, most of you that commented on the thumbnail, somebody did point out that they felt the thumbnail had been doctored in some way. Well, you're damn right it had been doctored. Firstly, Luis Guilherme was on a plane, sat next to me, and also Zippy from Rainbow was there as well. So, it was... anyway, thank you for everybody that joined in with that. That was a good hoot. Today, a little bit of a transfer roundup. We're all waiting on the big news to drop, really. I think apparently that Luis Guilherme, he's doing his medical today. He's had his pictures taken, not a Photoshop version like mine, actual proper pictures, holding up the shirt. The media team are getting ready, doing all their stuff, doing all their videos, their release videos, and interviewing him and doing all that stuff. So I don't know. I guess that's going to happen tomorrow morning, but it is just a guess. Please don't take my word for that at all. So today, we'll just deal with a few transfer rumours while we're waiting for all the good stuff to happen. First of all, Serhou Guirassy. You'll know this guy. He is the Stuttgart striker. We've been linked to him all season long. It turns out now, I don't know how interested we are. We've been linked to him. That's all I can tell you. Borussia Dortmund want him, which I think you'd probably say signals the end of West Ham's interest. However, Borussia Dortmund, they're pretending their skin. I mean, but they always sort of pretend their skin, don't they? Looking back at the number of players they've sold and the money they've got for them, and they reached Champions League final, they're not skint. So at the moment, they're pretending they don't have 35 million to buy Ian Martson. They do. But anyway, so they're also trying to pretend they don't have the full money to buy Serhou Guirassy. I mean, look, over in the UK, we know they're not skint. I bet if you're actually over in Germany, you're thinking, I'll leave it out, for goodness sake, particularly Stuttgart, who apparently are skint. Don't know how true that is, of course. We may still get him. I'm not sure how interested we are, but we've got a good relationship with Stuttgart because we bought Konstantinos Mavropanos, who's got the finest name in football. We bought him from Stuttgart, so we've got a good relationship there. And obviously Tim Stuyton has a good working relationship. So if we want him, please don't assume that he's necessarily going to go to Dortmund. You'd think so, but if they're going to muck around with money, apparently we can pay more money than them. I'm not sure how much of that I believe anyway. Okay, now I've had to ask some advice on the next name. If it's wrong, blame the person that advised me. Nehuen Perez. Now, that's how I say it. Nehuen Perez, which is basically Nehuen Perez. He plays for Udinese, and he's a defender. He's a very, very naughty boy. We've been heavily linked with him because the Bruno stuff is off. Look, Tim Stuyton can't buy everybody from Brazil, and it appears that Bruno really isn't going to sign for West Ham. We might be. I don't want to talk too much about the Vital stuff because I don't know how accurate any of this stuff is, truth be known. I'm just reading from the news, the majority of it anyway. But Vital, it may well be that Nottingham Forest are trying to poach him off of us. He's not really ours, really. They could just go and buy him from Brazil. But we're looking at a centre-back. So Nehuen Perez is... he's a very naughty boy, like I said. He gets more cards than Edson Alvarez. So I think last season he got 8 or 9 cards, yellows, and a red card. He is a naughty boy. So... he's a touch of the replicas about him, actually. So maybe there's some truth in that. Maybe there isn't. Him and Edson Alvarez together in the same team could be very, very interesting. That much is for sure. Aleix Garcia, or Garcia, if we're going Aleix Garcia, if we're going with a full theme, he plays for Girona, Garcia. We discussed him a little bit a couple of days ago, and I'll be discussing him possibly in tomorrow's video or the day after. I just need to just find out a little bit more about him. But what is clear is that Julian Lopetegui is a big fan. And this may well be the one instance where the manager, or head coach, should we call him that? We're all very continental today, aren't we? With our Nehuen Perez and Garcia and Julian and our continental head coach. We're going that way. We're becoming very European. Over on Hammer's Chat, it's clear. He wants this guy. He thinks this guy, he's really pushing for this transfer. So I hear anyway, which can make things very, very interesting with some other rumours that are surrounding West Ham. And look, I'll talk about this in a separate video. We've got a lot are midfielders. And I'll tell you what, a couple of them are going to go, that's for sure, particularly if we bring this guy in. So, yeah, we'll deal with that tomorrow. I will give you, do you know what? We've got half a European name. We've got sort of half a European name and half a South American name. So here we go. It's Ben Brereton Diaz. So you've got the Ben and the Diaz. Yes, you remember this guy. This is a guy who basically spent a long time. First of all, he was at Blackburn Rovers. Spent the first half of the season, scored loads of goals, then stopped scoring, played against West Ham, then he scored against us with Blackburn Rovers. He got a transfer. I think I might have this wrong. He went to Spain, as I understand it. Didn't score any goals over in Spain. Came back to Sheffield United. And then played against West Ham and scored a goal against us. And actually, he did very, very well last season. He is, I think he plays for Chile, a Chilean international, born and bred in Stoke. That's the Ben. The Diaz is the Chile bit. So we're interested in him. We've been interested in him for quite some time. I'm pretty sure if you were to put his name, all of it, all three of them, Ben Brereton Diaz, if you were to put it into Google, you'd probably find that we've been linked to him for the past 2 years. I guess he's got that flexibility because he can play wide or through the middle. I thought he played really well against us. It was a 2-2 draw. I think I might have this wrong, but possibly did Ollie McBurney score in that game as well? Basically, 2 strikers that couldn't score. Hey, you've guessed it. That was a terrible game, by the way. That was a terrible game. Was horrendous. Absolutely. That was one. That was one of 3 games where I thought it just made all the difference between us qualifying for Europe and not. We went so negative against Sheffield United, 2-2 draw. Disgraceful stuff. Anyway, we're linked with him. Ivan Toney. So you probably wouldn't want to mix a Nehuen Perez with Edson Alvarez. Possibly wouldn't want to mix Ivan Toney with Lucas Paquetá for obvious reasons. Well, it turns out we probably won't have to, because, well, Ivan Toney looks like he may be on his way to Tottenham. Tottenham have apparently beaten us to the signing of Ivan Toney. I'm not sure how interested would be in him. I'm really not. Lopetegui likes him. The reason we know Lopetegui likes him is because he mentioned it when he was at Wolves. So when Lopetegui was Wolves head coach, I guess possibly they played against Brentford, or he was asked in a press conference, what do you think of Ivan Toney? Very good, top class goal scorer, which I guess he is. I'd be very surprised if we got him, and not just because he's linked with Tottenham. Anyways, it's just that player that the value has depreciated hugely for him. They're asking for 100 million. I'd be very surprised if they got half that now. Lastly, but not leastly, well, it probably is, but least. Where's Foderingham? It is least, isn't it? It is least. That is definitely. I suggested about leaving the best till last. That's not leaving the best till last, is it? It's leaving the worst until last. Nothing against him. I've never met the fella, but let's be fair. It'd be a third choice goalkeeper, and we wouldn't be paying any money for him. He'd probably never play a game for West Ham, so it's not Luis Guilherme, is it? Anyway, so anything is up for grabs. What did the club say? The club leaked some news yesterday. All balls are in the air. Not like that. Not on video, anyway. But there's him and there's the other guy, Carlos Miguel. I've got it written down. So yeah, Carlos Miguel. He's the Corinthians goalkeeper, 6'8". Anyway, so I think Carlos Miguel is in his mid-20s or something like that, and I think Wes Fodringham's in his mid-50s or something. And so one of them is the future, and one of them's yesterday, basically. So hey, look, who knows? I'm sure I will be accused of being disrespectful. I'm only having a laugh, really, much like the private jet and the Tim Steiten, and I understand they never were. Luis Guilherme was never on the same jet as Tim Steiten. I literally took Luis Guilherme's head, stuck it on to a picture on Photoshop. I photoshopped myself in there, and I photoshopped Zippy in there as well. None of us were on the plane together at all, as I understand it. So actually, someone was very, very canny in the comment yesterday, because if you'd have listened to what I said in the video, as 99.9% you did, you would understand that I said that he'd come over on a British Airways flight, right? That I'd never claimed that he was on a private jet. In fact, I started off the video by saying he wasn't on a private jet. Anyway. But somebody did say, because I said, I wonder if he was been put in first class. Somebody was very clever. They went and searched. Because that's how you search the internet. He was one of them. I say, do it. I say, search the internet. They'd searched the internet and they'd found out that flight that he was on was didn't have first class, but it did have business class. So maybe he was flying business class with his entourage yesterday. There you go. So he's probably there. He's probably there at the moment. He's probably there having his medical at the moment, making sure he's fit as a fiddle and all the rest of it. He'd be holding up. What shirt will he hold up? They wouldn't do that. That would be the way to do it, wouldn't it? That would be the way to do it. To have the new player hold up the new shirt. Has that ever been done? I don't know. I don't know. Interesting. Anyway, I'll catch up with you tomorrow. We will probably talk about Aleix Garcia.